Greetings, fellow space nerds, humans of Earth, and beyond. I'm Cornelius, back again with more Starfield shipbuilding. Today, I've got build number 141, Crusader, a Class C Sanctum Universum Corvette, commissioned by Keeper Aquilus himself. The Sanctum has found itself in desperate need of more fighting ships. More specifically, the Grizzly Gears Astroneering Group are not the only ones dealing with the Watchtower horde. We've been sharing intel with the Keeper, and so far he's been able to keep himself and his flock safe, but only just. It is our hope that the Crusader and her sister ships will help keep the Sanctum and our fellow Starborn Keeper Aquilus ahead of the Watchtower threat. We meet again, my fellow spaceship enjoyers. This one came together much more better than I initially set out. I wanted to explore the idea of Watchtower going after other Starborn out there, and overall design cues for this one came from kind of all over the place, but the weapon setup, the overall profile, and this engine setup for sure is are some of my personal highlights. Let's check her out. I love how this cross-shaped bow feels very much in your face. Like this ship is gonna just drive through just about anything. It also kind of invokes some religious symbolism there, even though I know the sign of the cross is not Keeper Aquilus' thing, but that is one of the religions in this game, of course. This engine setup, I gotta give credit to Revan over on Reddit. This is the first time I've implemented these yellow Star Trek pieces. I saw it done first over on his page. One of the best builders we got, for sure. But yeah, we'll talk more about those engines over in the build. This weapon setup, I initially wanted to try and do something asymmetrical, and I actually have started a different build in a more asymmetrical avenue, but I went with my old symmetrical ways on this one, and I'm very happy with it. Yeah, this weapon setup is pretty sick. I went with the Class B particle beams just for their dimensions because I felt like the Class Cs were a bit too big. This bay area, also pretty neat feature. I'm really happy with the merges here. Alright, let's check out this interior. So we enter into a Falkland 2x1 armory, but we're going to check that out momentarily. We're going to start by moving aft into a Falkland 2x1 living space. Decorated it, of course. Made a little liquor cabinet here for the Keeper's libations. And we move forward into the kitchen area. Added some stuff and things here and there, of course. like usual. And we continue aft over to the port side. This is our Owltech Let's Work. I think this is the 1x1 engineering, but let's call it our secondary power unit. There is some clipping on either of these habs, so I put a wall on the back of that one. And as we cross the ship's beam over to the starboard side, you can see a little bit of that clipping that I was talking about. This is a Falkland 1x1 medbay, rather well equipped for the Keeper. And moving forward, we're back to our 2x1 Falkland armory that I, of course, put a bunch of guns in and a couple extra bits here and there. Of course, the Keeper prefers his particle guns, but we turned him on to some plasma action. This is still my favorite weapon mod. Alright, now we'll check out the living quarters, well, the crew quarters. So we head up the ladder to a 2x1 Falkland crew quarters that I customized just a bit. Even though this is generally supposed to be Keeper Aquilus' ship, he, I'm sure, will have a crew here and there. So we got some space for him. And here's our docker. And as we move aft once more to the captain's quarters, this is the Keeper's private quarters, of course. I tried to decorate it in a way that would make sense for a Starborn priest. Well, a Starborn leader of a church. It's kind of a weird mix, but this is all make-believe anyway. I like the way this one came out. Very, come on words, very, churchy. That's not a word, but you can make words up. Alright. Moving forward. And moving forward of the armory, we have a 1x1 Falkland control station that I was able to customize a decent amount, I think. Nice little server wall with a little custom built out, if you would. I think the black walls from the Better Buildable Walls mod, you can see I also used them in here. I think they really go well with the Falkland habs since they have that black floor and all. This is, of course, our Falkland bridge. Basically, as good as it gets for a pre-furnished hab. Here's our cockpit area. Not much to add here, it's essentially perfect. Of course, we have a cockpit shoddy. And now, let's build it. Alright, this is our mod list and load order. What's checked is active, and what has the thumbs up is the mod that I used, or a mod that I used. I forgot to thumb up 2 in here, actually. The Star Trek mod and Bad Tech for some of the cargo that I used. So, my apologies there. And here's the parts list. Here's our Habs over there. And as long as you grabbed one of every one of these other parts, you should have enough in your builder to complete this bird. Here is my weapon selection. You of course can pick whatever you like. Step 1. Walkable spaces. This is our Habs, the bay, and the docker. Not terribly complicated with this one. I'll see it in step 2. Step 2, the bow. Several different merges going on up here, but nothing, at least nothing I think terribly difficult. I did leave this one side intact as a reference. Everything else we're gonna piece together as we go. Of course, as always, if you have any questions about the techniques and or methods that I use for any of these builds, just go ahead and drop your inquiry down in the comments. I'm usually around and happy to help. Step 3. Our first gear and some more structural bits. Midships. Step 4. We've got some more structural bits, and we've also got our reactor, grav drive, and main engine. The engine is is part of a new mod, at least a new mod to me. It's called Micro Modules, and it has quite a few new reactors, grav drives, shields, engines, and fuel tanks that have some pretty wicked stats. But as the name of the mod entails, most of them are small little modules in the shape of the Crimson Fleet frequency jammer, which opens up a lot of new build styles, build types, at least in my opinion, but the stats are pretty cool. The engines have a speed of 400, 425, or 450, which for my game and my current mods makes them the fastest engines so far. So that is pretty cool. I've started using these parts in several of my builds. So always cool when new mods come out, or when I find new mods. I hid the fuel tanks here on the inside of these Matillija armor trim pieces. You, of course, can put them wherever you want. Step 5. Just a small structural addition that almost mirrors what's above it towards the stern of the ship here. I've kept one side intact for reference. Step 6. Our wings and weapons. Since these mirror each other, I kept one side intact for a reference, and we will assemble the other side. Step 7. Our engines. Now, there is heavy use of the Gillibrand attachment point spacers in order to get this stern merged in the way I did it. So, I mean, I definitely had to be patient with the shipbuilder and the, potential issues that are going to arise with so many attachment points so close to each other. But I think I deconstructed this in a way that as long as you just do it how I do it here, everything should work out. We'll start this merge here from the top. This glowing bit inside the engines has always been a cool feature to try and incorporate. This is the first time I've used the glowing yellow Star Trek bits. What's something interesting and sci-fi-ish that we could call them? Let's call them an excited Vytinium drive. That sounds plausible, maybe. An excited Vytinium drive. Yeah, I'll allow it. So to set up our excited Vytinium drive, align your Gillibrand spacers like so. And we're just going to slide these in here until they're just sticking out a touch. And of course, you've probably already figured it out. We're going to merge the other 3 decorative engines in those empty spaces. Now, right up here, 3 of these are actually bad tech cargo holds. Those forward-facing bottom 3. So that's how we get the cargo numbers. Now, these Gillibrand spacers are set up differently than the ones above them because I needed a space to attach the glowing Star Trek modules without having them clip into the rear interior, which you'll see here how we prevent that just in a sec. So, in this orientation, they do not clip into the rear interior, yet they also do not stick out further than our decorative engines, which gives us that glowing effect. I'm honestly not even sure which attachment points this sheet of Antares pieces is going to attach to, really. But just get them in there symmetrically and situate them however you want. But I assure you, they fit. And you've done it. Congratulations. The Crusader is yours. Watchtower, beware. Let's take her for a quick combat tour. If you made it this far, hail to the yeah. Thank you so very much. I hope you guys enjoyed this build. It came together rather well, in my humble opinion. If you haven't checked out the Watchtower mod yet, I do think it is one of the best paid mods that we've got so far. Very curious to see where they go with it, if there's an expansion to the Watchtower story, or if it's integrated into the next official Bethesda DLC somehow. I guess we just have to wait and see for that one. In the hangar, I've got 5 Star Wars builds, an Expanse build, one of Rasmus over on the Techno View channels builds, and quite a few others in progress and complete. If any of those excite y'all, let me know. I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to post next. Anyway, Cornelius. You can find me in the Star Yard